Well, welcome to this InterAcct software video demonstration. In this series we're going to be looking at the new system. It's part of our base InterAcct package that relates to products or materials being sent from your warehouse out to a subcontractor's business in order that they may perform outwork on those products. In other words, convert them from something to something else. Now this is all done under menu number 10 here, products and materials menu, so I'll just select that off our main menu. And it's down here in menu 13 and 14. So 13 is the transaction that will remove from stock the items that you're sending out to the subcontractor. It'll put them into a special category of stock being held, still owned by you guys of course, held not in your warehouse but held outside the office or the warehouse by some other party, a subcontractor. And menu 14 is when you receive back that stock. Obviously it's not the same stock any longer, it's now a new product. So this might handle a situation where you're sending products out to be galvanized or powder coated in the case of metal products, or assembled in the case of other products or whatever. So let's just go and have a look at how we do that. So I'll select menu number 13, stock going out to the subcontractor. It comes up automatically with a search screen, what we're looking at here now, and that will allow us to search on products that have been sent but not yet returned. So we can search on return date blank or any combination of these fields. Now I've only got a few test transactions not worth searching, so I'll just press the enter button or the start search button, and it'll bring up a list of existing transactions or records. These are all stock items that have been sent out, and let's add a new one now, add a new transaction. So I'm going to go over to the big green plus button here, or the plus button on the keyboard, and it will put us into adding a new record. You see stock to subcontractor, adding record, and the first field it's asking us for is the date issued. And of course there is help text down the foot of the screen which follows us all the way through, and it just tells us to press enter to bring in today's date automatically, which I'll do. And the next field, it says, okay, who's the employee that's sending these products out, and that employee's name of course will appear on the delivery docket that you may wish to print. So I'll just select Fred. Now this is a very important field, the category. So it's just saying we're sending these goods out. Are they in relation to a job that we've already created? It might be a job or project where you're sending work out to be performed by Subbies. The next one down is a kit related job. Now a kit is our simple manufacturing system. It's one of the options from full-blown manufacturing which we have with InterAcct. And again, when you call up that kit conversion job, you can see an inquiry of goods that have been sent to the Subbies and which ones have been returned. You get the same one under the job as well. That may be in relation to our distribution system, our sales order entry system, or our quick invoicing system, part of the base software where you're just selling product and possibly services. And you again want to be able to say, look, maybe you're going to assemble a bundle of products and it's a little bit of a job and you want to send some out to be assembled or worked on some way. Again, you get an inquiry underneath that sales order that shows you what goods have been sent out to Subbies. And lastly, just simply stock, where you're sending stock from your warehouse to a subcontractor for work to be done and then returning as a different stock item. Okay, so I might just in this example select number 1, which is the job related one, and it's now allowing us to search on the job. There's only a couple of jobs in here, so I'll just select this one here, assemble steel framework. That's brought in the description down here. Now it's asking us what's the product that we're sending out, and firstly what's the product group, and this group I've only got a couple of groups here, very poor example I suppose. You'd normally have a dozen or so product groups of course. What's the product item we're sending out? I'll select the first item, this bare metal item, 1 meter long. That's the one that we're sending out. It tells us that we already have available in stock 30 of this item. It's now asking us what are we actually going to send to the subbie. Let's just say we're going to send 10. And now it's asking us who the subbie is. We can search on the subbie. There's only a couple of items in this example. I'll use steel galvanizers as our subcontractor. And it's saying now what's the expected return date, and let's just say it's going to be the 5th of the 8th. There's a quick way of putting in that date there. And now it's come down and saying what's the per unit cost for this conversion work that we're going to do. So let's just say it was $5.05. Now because we'd selected job as the category, it's now asking us what, in terms of costs going against this job when we later return the goods, what's the phase of work. Now this job only has one phase, which is the main phase. And what's the cost group? It's defaulting to subcontractors. which I'll select. And lastly in that sector, what's the trade? And I might select the number 8 there, which is the fabrication as an example. Now, we've already selected the subcontractor. It's just saying that one subcontractor could have multiple site or delivery addresses, and saying where do we want to deliver the goods to. You can see it's changed the address here. And lastly, there's just a little one-line instruction in relation to this product that we want to send to the subcontractor. You can have any number of descriptions in this little library. They're self-generating, so if you want to type in a new one, they'll be added to the database. I just selected galvanize. Well, that's really the first step completed now, and next we'll go down and show you what we can do in terms of producing the delivery docket. Okay, so we've entered our details here. Next step would be to print a delivery docket, but maybe there's some work notes that you might want to send out with the goods. So I've typed in some work notes here, and it's just saying there's no limits to the number of comment lines that can be added, and they will print on the delivery docket. Next we want to print the delivery docket itself, and this is where you can, the layout can be changed to suit yourself really. Here's an example. You'd have your logo here and your address, of course, address to the subcontractor, the details of what we're sending out, the product, the instructions, and the notes that we just typed in, and of course a total XGST. So you can personalize that layout to suit yourself if that's not what you want. Now the next and last step, I suppose, is when you've actually now been told that the goods are ready to be picked up, the work's been done. So what you can do is print a pickup docket, and I've already done one here, but I'll just show you what was that under the menu number 3. It asks you the pickup date, where you want it delivered to, and I'll just click on that little magnifying glass there. The idea here is that the goods that will be picked up could be sent directly to a client. That might be in relation to a job or a sales order, and you can nominate the client address. You could also send it directly to a job site location, or you could send it to some other address. That might be where you're sending it from one subcontractor to another subcontractor for further work to be performed. Or you could send it, as we've got in this example, to your own warehouse. InterAcct has the option for multiple warehouses. You can nominate that warehouse along with delivery instructions and directions. Once you've done that, all that remains to be done is to print the pickup docket, which is sort of similar to the delivery docket in the sense that it's asking for a carrier to go and get some goods and pick them up. You can see here again, you've got your address and logo. Where do we want to pick them up from? Where we're going to deliver them to, in this case our own warehouse. Pickup details, you see it's now the new item that we want to pick up, and the directions and instructions. So that's pretty simple. The new item that you're picking up was defined here, and it's still under the product group stock, but I selected a galvanized product. It's no longer the bare metal item, it's the one underneath, a galvanized product. Okay, so once that's been done and you've gone and picked up the goods, the next step would be to do the return from the subbie, and that's where he's actually sending those goods and hopefully with an invoice. So let's record that. We can do that on the previous menu, right? Under the products, where you can put in a return transaction as well. So this is a list of existing return transactions, and we're going to add a new one. So I'll just press the enter button, or the plus button I should say, and it puts us into add mode. It's now asking us for the return date. Let's just say it was the 6th of the 8th, the day after what we expected. What's the works order? It's bringing up a list of works orders. They list in the reverse date order, so the most recent works order is always at the top, which is when you can see the works order number. And now it's saying what's the subcontractor's invoice number, which is of course alphanumeric, and what are they returning? It's defaulting to the number of products items that we sent out, which is 10, but they could be returning it in dribs and drabs, so they allow you to do multiple returns from the same works order. But I'll accept the 10. It's worked out that the net invoice value based on what we expected the cost to be is $50 for the 10 items. But again, you can edit that. You can change that, and in which case it would show you a cost variance from what you expected. It's also worked out the GST. If you've got a slight rounding error of a cent or so from the subcontractor, it allows you to edit that amount. The next field, it's come down to the bottom, it's saying, is this invoice now approved for payment? So if it's yes, it'll allow you to pay the invoice using InterAct's EFT payment system, or payment by cheque or credit card, whatever else you're using. If not, it won't allow you to pay it, of course. And now it's saying what's the expected payment date. It's gone to the subcontractor's file, looked at their payment terms. You can see they're displayed here, 30 days from invoice date, and it's calculated automatically the expected payment date, which is used in the cash flow analysis of debtors and creditors within InterAcct, predicting what cash is going to come in by day and by week. I'll accept that. By the way, you don't have to have these fields editable, you can just skip them automatically. Okay, we're down now to the markup field, markup percentage. Because we said this one was a job category, it's saying, do you want to mark up to calculate the expected sell price, which is set at $50, the same as the cost at the moment. So let's just say we're going to mark it up by 55%. That could copy in that markup automatically from the job, by the way, so it's calculated the expected sell price. That's an indication of what this work could be invoiced for against the job. Now, there's a little interesting one here. Do we ready to issue this stock directly to the job? In other words, we'll bring it into the store and then automatically issue it to the job and show it as part of their job costs, and they'll be posted under that phase, group and cost item against the job as well. If you say no, I don't want to issue them to the job, instead of issuing them, it will actually reserve them for the job. And so when you look up stock and what's available, it'll be less the reserved stock, reserved for different jobs. Okay, and little extra work notes, whatever you like there, it's just an optional field, pass quality control test, let's say. Press enter, that's the completion of the stock return. And it's put now back into stock at the new value, that stock. All the general ledger entries, by the way, are being handled automatically by InterAcct. You can see them here under GL Post, the debits and credits, if you like, for that first entry, and again for the pickup you'll see the same. It's handling the accounting automatically. We're back at the original transaction with the goods going out. You can see that we sent out 10, now it's showing we've returned 10, balance to come as 0. Expected cost was $50.50, actual cost the same, no variance there in the cost. The committed cost, by the way, is where you've got, it's like against the job, it only relates to jobs, where you've got it raised a purchase order. In this case we're calling it a works order, and it will show against the job as costs that are committed but not yet come in as actual cost. But of course in this case we've gone past being committed, we've actually received the goods and therefore incurred the cost actually, so committed's back to 0. Well, that really completes the two little transactions to send goods out to a subbie and receive them back in as something different.